Come here, I need to show you something. The number one reason why a lot of people are waking up to the truth of flat Earth is the Nikon Coolpix P1000.
Alright, today we're diving into a conspiracy that's more twisted than a bowl of spaghetti. The curious case of the Nikon P1000. Now, whispers in the flat earth community say this camera's being discontinued because it's just too good at uncovering the truth. Yeah, they think the P1000 is the threat to the globe because it might just reveal the real shape of the earth. So grab your tinfoil hats and let's zoom in on this conspiracy. Is the Nikon P1000 really a flat earth detective, or is it just getting retired because it's old and useless? Like me! Please subscribe.
This camera is the most powerful zoom in the world. Here is how I know that we are gaining traction, because they are discontinuing this product.
Now, as most of you will know, I've been making content about flat earthers since 2018, and I've heard a lot of flat earthers say a lot of stupid things, but the fact that they seem to believe that Nikon has removed the P1000 from the market just in case anybody proves the earth is flat with it is, well, it's pretty awesome actually.
As of February 29th, multiple articles. Several Japanese stores list the Nikon Coolpix P1000 as and will be discontinued production.
Now, I don't want to just come out with it and say that you're completely wrong, but let's do a little thinking exercise. So Nikon, the company, has just bought Red, which is another camera company that makes very high-end cinema quality cameras. So do you think it may be a little more plausible that the reason they've dumped the P1000, which is a bridge camera, is that they want to focus more on the high end of the market and make more of that lovely Spondylix? Or they're scrapping it in case anybody uses it to prove the earth is flat? Just give it some thought.
Why is that important? Here's why it's important. The number one proof, besides people who believe in the Bible, for flat earth is the fact that you can see way too far.
Now look, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, it just seems to happen naturally. But the reason we can see too far is technically because the earth is a globe. But I get why seeing really far might seem like a slam dunk for flat earthers, but here's the science.
Yes, science!
Earth's atmosphere can play tricks on our eyes. It's like Earth's own magic show called atmospheric refraction. And this phenomenon bends light over the curvature of the earth, letting us see a bit further than we would if the earth's atmosphere wasn't there. Now, I've got family in Southern Ireland, so I sail from Fishguard to Rosslare when I go to visit them, which is only 67 miles. Now, if the earth is flat, why can't I see Wales when I look back out over the Irish Sea? You know, on account of us being able to see too far. 67 miles is nothing.
The reason why this camera is being discontinued is because they do not want normal people going out there like me.
Normal? Interesting choice of adjective.
Who can go out there and zoom in on miles and miles and miles and see absolutely zero curvature.
Okay, quick idea. Why don't you try this then, flat earthers? Go and set up your beloved P1000 camera on a beach somewhere and get a ship into focus that is sailing away from you and keep recording it. Don't let it go miles out and then zoom it back in and stop there and say, aha, see, no curvature. You keep filming and eventually you will get to a point, I guarantee it, where you cannot zoom that ship back in any longer because, and wait for it, it's gone over the curvature of the earth and is no longer visible. And before you even think of saying it, you cannot claim that it's gone beyond what the P1000 can zoom in on, because flat earthers also zoom in on the moon using the P1000, and everybody knows the moon is 238,000 miles away.
They're losing their narrative. They are in trouble and they are losing their grip.
And you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
This is the reason why they're wanting to ban TikTok and everything else, because all the truth that's starting to be exposed right now.
So it's not because the United States government and lawmakers have expressed concerns that TikTok's Chinese ownership poses a national security risk. It's just in case somebody may start believing that the earth is flat.
So I'm sitting here thinking about flat earth and how obviously like the earth is flat, right? And just how it shows us how we've become like literally so jaded to the government and the school system and all of it that we are literally willing to believe that the Earth is flat just because it's the opposite of what they've taught us.
Well, that wasn't really confusing, was it? So you stated that you are a flat earther, and then you basically said you only believe it because it goes against what we're taught. So reality and the truth don't come into it at all for you then. And when it comes to belief, if the Earth actually was flat, nobody would need to believe it. They would be able to prove it, which you haven't.
And if that doesn't scream like broken society, I don't know what does.
Well, you don't know because it doesn't scream broken society. It's certain members of society that are broken, but not society as a whole. Because if it was society as a whole, then everyone would think that the Earth was flat, wouldn't they?
We'll just believe anything that's the opposite of what they tell us because they've lied to us so much.
Now, for once, I'm not going to disagree with a flat earther. The world's governments do lie to us, and it sucks. It's rubbish. But I can't understand why that then means that the Earth is flat when every single observation we make, and when I say we, I include flat earthers because flat earthers are really good at proving that the Earth is a globe.
Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
But I don't see how the two things go together.
Now I'm about to prove to you that the so-called planets are not physical objects. So this is what NASA shows us versus what one of the most powerful zoom cameras in the world, which is the Nikon P900, actually shows us.
Why is it always NASA's fault?
For starters, this is what NASA says Saturn looks like versus what it actually looks like.
Yeah, but you're comparing apples to oranges because the images at the bottom of your screen are artistic renderings of what Saturn and the other planets would look like based off information that NASA and other space agencies have gathered through years and years of space exploration. And the images on the top, the really blurry, poor quality ones, are because they were taken from a P1000 camera here on Earth.
Guys, this is what our planets actually look like, and not this fake CGI cartoons that NASA gives you. Also, how is it when you point a camera at the North Star, which is Polaris, all the stars around it do perfect circles?
The reason Polaris, or the North Star, appears to stay in the same spot while other stars seem to circle around it is because of Earth's rotation. Picture the Earth as a spinning top. Just like a spinning top, it has a point around which it spins, and Earth's spin around a line is called its axis. Now imagine this axis stretching out into space, pointing towards the stars, and at the top end it points almost directly to Polaris. So as the Earth rotates, Polaris seems to stay put right above the North Pole. But the other stars aren't lined up with Earth's axis, so as it rotates, they make these big circles in the sky around Polaris, which is what that picture shows. So yet again, another one of your flat Earth proofs is only possible because the Earth is a globe rotating around its axis.
Also, if you weren't aware, the constellations realign in the same exact spot every 365 days.
Kind of, but it isn't exactly 365 days. And that's because the Earth takes a little longer than 365 days to do one orbit of the Sun. So we have to add an extra day every 4 years to keep up, you know, a leap year. And the Earth also wobbles a little bit as it rotates. You know, like a spinning top that's got a bit of a wobble to it, that kind of thing. So whilst you're kind of right that the constellations reappear in almost exactly the same spot, it isn't quite exactly the same spot, which is why you're only almost right. Shut up, you know what I mean.
Which means we are absolutely not doing this. Hurtling through space, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at 67,000 miles an hour? How would it be possible to see the same exact constellations in the same exact spot every year?
Well, it's because the stars in those No, wait, I've got a much better idea of how to explain this.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
Did that help at all?
Just in case you weren't aware, NASA is telling everyone that we are on a spinning water ball, spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, chasing the sun at 650 times the speed of sound, and traveling 4.4 billion miles every single year since the beginning of time.
Where are these people getting their information from? Is there like a special search engine for idiots or something? Because everything I can find tells me what I already thought, that the Earth travels about 584 million miles every year. 4.4 billion miles. You're just making stuff up at this point.
Now, the issue I have with this
like there's only one.
is how does Polaris the North Star stay fixated in the exact same spot in the night sky 24/7, 365 days of the year?
For all the reasons I explained earlier on in this video when your idiot friend said exactly the same thing. I'm not going through it again.
You guys remember the Georgia Guidestones? The, New World Order's 10 Commandments written in 8 different languages. The first one saying maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Well, yeah, they drilled a hole in the Guidestones, and if you look through it, you can see Polaris fixed in the night sky 24/7, 365 days of the year.
Now, as much as I would love to play the Father Ted clip for you again, because it does perfectly explain what this idiot is asking as well, I'm not going to. I don't think he realizes that Polaris is 433 light years away, or 5.88 trillion miles.
This is exactly how these people laugh at you.
It must be absolutely awful being a flat earther and knowing that everybody is laughing at you. That is what he meant, isn't it?
So you think NASA landed a rover on Mars 199 million miles away?
Hey, why are you singling me out? I wasn't the one who said it happened. Where are you getting 199 million miles from? Is it from Flatfinder? The distance to Mars varies depending on where we are and it is in our orbits. It can be as little as 33.9 million miles and as much as 225 million miles. So, yeah, you're off to a great start.
You sure about that?
Well, I mean, I'm as sure as I can be. I did check 3 different places to make sure that the information I found was verified. This is weird. I'm not used to having one of them talk back to me.
You're sure they didn't just send a crew to Devon Island, Canada?
Stop doing that. It's freaking me out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Take some photos and do some editing? Some editing to give it that red planet tint?
Now, it's funny that you bring up editing, and admittedly this isn't exactly the same photo, but it did make me think of this clip from MC Toon.
Devon Island, Mars, Devon Island. We always say, don't believe us. Do your own research. Do your own research. Do your own research. Do your own research. Do your research. This is from NASA's website.
Unfortunately for Dave, I did my own research. Again. Here's a video showing the photo from Ireland being edited to look like Mars. It's a satirical video by Danny Wilton in 2012, not NASA.
And then what they do is they release photos like this to make you think, oh my goodness, there could be aliens or other life on Mars, and that takes the attention away from the fact that the photos aren't really of Mars. And then they got you, because now you think they're covering up aliens instead of covering up the fact that Mars isn't a planet.
Yeah, the only people falling for that nonsense are the people on your side of the argument. When I saw it, I actually looked for information about it, and it turns out that that thing that resembles a doorway is like this big. So they must be teeny weeny little aliens then, obviously.
Because if you look at what they claim to be a planet with your own eyes through an actual telescope or a P1000 camera, you see something much different.
So are you trying to tell me that the pictures we took when there was a craft on Mars are better quality than the pictures taken from Earth through a zoom lens or a telescope? Well, I find that impossible to believe.
Because here's what NASA shows, and with a short video.
The Hubble Space Telescope just captured this new image of Mars in May 2016 as Earth and Mars approached opposition, when both planets are on the same side of the...
But if you decide to research yourself and explore what thousands of people see instead of the one government agency, you see Mars looks an awful lot like a pool light shimmering in water.
Well, I'm clearly wrong then. I had no idea that those thousands of people had their own personal Hubble telescope.
Nothing like a planet. And then you dig even more and you find plenty of evidence that NASA was at Devon Island.
What do you mean evidence? You don't need evidence to prove that NASA work at Devon Island, because they do. They use it for training and research.
And the reason why a lot of us don't look more into flat Earth is because
Earth isn't flat. Yeah, we know.
When it is brought up, we're fed propaganda. Like, for instance, you see like a pancake space. I mean, pancake Earth out of space. Then you hear somebody talking about it. That's not what we think. We don't think.
Yeah, clearly.
When I learned about the firmament, I went back. When I heard about the firmament, I went back to the Bible and I said, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." I didn't know what it was, and I remember the Bible saying it's separate the waters from the waters. Then I looked up the word firmament, and I looked up the old word. You gotta look up what the old word is and stuff like that. And then I figured out what that was, and then that sent me on my journey because it was hard for me to believe.
And yet here we are. Now I don't know who you are or what you do, but I'm guessing it involves getting hit in the head a lot. And now I do know who he is, so I'm going. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Oh, you're still here then. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, then you'll probably enjoy this video as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all again very soon or in a few minutes if you do decide to watch this recommended video. Love you, bye.